pleaded guilty to the murder. Thank you for joining us. For meteorologist Eric Gage is over in the Weather Center. And Eric, a quiet morning out there, at least for now, right?
Yeah, we've got a very narrow lake effect band, in fact, very isolated, that's retreated about a bit more to the west, which is good news for your morning commute today. We were mentioning the possibility of that lake effect impacting your commute, but as you can see here, there are, of course, some areas of light flurries and at least some I would say almost sand-like snowfall falling, but this is not really impacting your drive early today. So much improved weather heading out the door this morning compared to yesterday. That snow band is expected to shift its way north throughout the morning before eventually wobbling south in the wake of an Arctic front, bringing at least a very narrow band of heavier snow to our area, and that's going to be mainly south and west of Utica. A look at the roadways early today, as I mentioned, they're not that bad compared to yesterday. Still some snow-covered spots here and there, so budget some extra time heading out the door this morning. Wind chill's still bitterly cold, so obviously this morning you're going to want to make sure you have some extra layers heading out the door, and especially as we head into tomorrow, because these wind chills are going to be even colder than this tomorrow morning. So plan accordingly for that. Today's highs in the teens. The Arctic front moves in the afternoon. We'll have a look at the temperatures tomorrow. That lake effect will be tracking, and everything you need to know for the early preview for your weekend straight ahead.
Eric, thanks to border agents who fire their...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise this morning. Our radar right now indicating some lingering lake effect yet again. So far early today, though, that lake's band has been mainly hovering to our west. It's not been as strong as yesterday, which is the good news here. This is meaning that your morning commute will be much improved compared to yesterday, meaning those temperatures also being colder. That snow is a bit sandier in texture with the drier air aloft, too. So that's going to help in terms of the consistency of snow. And the snow is very sand-like. The driving is a lot better in it. Your photo of the day today, we've talked about sun dogs. But how about snow dogs? This is one sent in Forestport. Looks like he or she's enjoying all this fresh snowfall, and it's been quite a winter so far. That's for sure. This photo is sent in by Loretta. If you have one like this you'd like to share with us, maybe your furry friends enjoying the snowfall or anything in general showcasing your neck of the woods, WKTV.com/weather/pics is where you can submit your own photo of the day, brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Thanks. The date is set and the charity...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today we are tracking some lake effect, which thankfully isn't impacting our area too much, but we're going to be vigilant in tracking where that heads. We look at the radar and satellite. We still have a light bits of multi-lake influence here. Now, yes, it is getting colder, so a lot more of the Great Lakes are starting to see some ice coverage. In fact, Lake Erie already ice covered right now, but Lake Ontario is still pretty deep, and it's an extreme rarity for that to freeze over. So because of that, we got some lake effect influence. It's not a lot, but it's enough to remind us to remain aware of potential impacts of travel this morning. I think based off of the sandy consistency of this snow due to the drier air aloft, that the snowfall will be less impactful than yesterday. We were looking at the data yesterday, and it was pointing to this factor, but we were always vigilant in that, Mother Nature not cooperating. But nonetheless, that snow is going to be very fine and sandy in texture and not amount to much in terms of accumulation, again, compared to yesterday. So the wind chills following this Arctic front this afternoon is going to cool those wind chills down into the negatives again. So we already in the negatives, are in the negatives right now, so this is not a big difference. But as we head into tonight and tomorrow morning, You got wind chills of -20 to -30. Up north, -30 to -40. So you're going to want to grab any extra layers heading out to work. It's been putting the kids on the bus tomorrow morning with that very Arctic wind chill. Throughout the day Friday, those wind chills do not go above 0 degrees. It remains still below 0 with that feels like temperature into early Saturday before those wind chills finally, in fact, I would even say barely even make it to 0 degrees before we're back down into the negative double digits Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So that's the temperature trend. Let's look at the snowfall chances. So as I mentioned here, we've got some lake effect influence today. A couple scattered snow showers in the early afternoon as that front rolls through. And then south and west of Utica, maybe up in the hills of Madison County, that snow band really starts to form again. And that's what we're tracking in terms of potential travel impacts this evening and to the early overnight tonight. Then it quiets down. Much of Friday is pretty quiet, but then that snow band might reorganize a little bit in the hills just south of Utica again, before finally fizzles out as we head into Saturday night. So in terms of snowfall, I've changed a few things here. I've made this last from this morning until Saturday evening. We still have the same ranges here. We trended it a bit more to the south, so that's the latest in terms of our snowfall map this morning. Your 7-day forecast, regardless of snow chances, it's still going to be bitterly cold the next few days. It's our coldest stretch of the year. We are in the teens, wind chills near or already below 0, and the negatives for pretty much 3 nights straight. So very cold weather, Gary, but it will be expected to be pretty dry heading into the weekend. So
Look at
that's
that.
good news.
10, 10, 10.
Yep, all 10 below.
Oh, my goodness. Eric, thanks. Still ahead, one last look at the forecast.
With Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And a nice quiet ride in for us for a change, right?
I know. I mean, we had a little bit of sandy snow, but not really impacting us, at least compared to yesterday, so much better.
Yeah, and when I was coming up the hill this morning, it looked like diamonds were on the road. The lights were shining on it like it was.
Yeah, that's the way the snow characteristics are. And in fact, if this morning, if you're driving out anywhere, you might see some light pillars based off of how the shards of snow almost look like ice.
Yeah.
We take a look at the current snowfall right now, and that exact same scenario is what's playing out in terms of impacts as well. So the snow looking very diamond-like, very shiny. Also, less impacts compared to yesterday. Now, we're not out of the woods just yet. We still have some lake effect coming off of Lake Ontario, but I can tell you this right now. The upper atmosphere is less saturated. The dendritic growth layer, for a fancier term, basically the area where snow forms is more dry. In turn, the flakes don't get as big and they're much less impactful. And we get that, of course, when temperatures are a lot colder and we don't have that saturated lower atmosphere that we get from very intense lake effect. So it is saturated near Oswego, but as you head inland, it's a lot more dry air. So because of that, the snowfall a lot less impactful. We can see some roadways this morning. Obviously, some still are slightly snow covered, but if you plan a little bit extra time this morning, you really have very little, if any, issues getting to where you need to go. Wind chills still remain very cold this morning. We are below 0 and expected to remain below 0 for much of the day today, despite temperatures on paper climbing into the teens. We are expecting an Arctic front this afternoon, bringing us scattered snow showers and some more intense snowfall, mainly south and west of Utica. We'll be diving into that, plus that snowfall forecast heading into Friday and how the weekend is looking as well straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Gordon Woody Maurer will be back in an Otsego County courtroom in Cooperstown.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Time now is 6:12, and here's what you can expect heading out the door this morning. As I mentioned, we're tracking some lake effect here. It's not that impactful, but nonetheless, it is still lake effect, and we have to be keeping a close eye on it. For now, it's at bay to the west. Light flurries, temperature of -3, calm winds at play here. So as you can see here, regardless of the winds, it's still the actual temperature at -3 this morning. So again, as I mentioned, we have some lighter lake effect early today. Despite this very Arctic start to your morning, We have an Arctic front rolling through this afternoon, bringing, you guessed it, even colder temperatures as we head into Friday and into the weekend. And on top of that, I mean, we're looking at minus 20, minus 40 degree wind chills tomorrow morning. So you're going to want to make sure you have ways to bundle up tomorrow, including today, though. I'm not even discounting today. It's still very cold heading out early this morning. We're keeping a close eye on roadways. So far, much improved compared to yesterday. But as you can see here, we're just slowly watching that lake effect band. We got dry air over us right now, which is helping, but it all depends on how quick that air saturates and shifts this way eastward. So for now, your early morning commute is going to be pretty quiet. That snow band is going to basically fizzle out a little bit this afternoon. A few scattered snow showers, and then a more intense snow band right here, which we'll be talking a bit more here coming up shortly. Gary?
Eric, thanks. We're getting a close look inside Oneida High School and what it took to bring students back after that devastating flooding last.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody, on this Thursday. Today, we've got a few lake effect snow showers to our west. In fact, if you look at the radar and satellite, we can see that a lot of that is falling mainly in the western portions of Oneida County and especially out toward Oswego County. There's a lot more dry air at place here early today. But notice here we have that Arctic front starting to approach. This is going to arrive in the late morning and early afternoon, bringing a few scattered snow showers to our area and eventually some much colder temperatures. We can see some minor lake effect influence right now. We can't discount it entirely, but at least for the time being, the road conditions early today are much better than yesterday, and it appears to be a case for much of the morning. Wind chills, in fact, actual temperatures this morning are below zero in a lot of spots. Tomorrow morning, even colder following that Arctic front. We're at minus 22 in Utica, minus 34 Speculator. We have some very Arctic wind chills to head into the day tomorrow, and that cold weather continues into Saturday. So, yes, it's going to get very cold, but I want to show something that might make it more evident of how strong this Arctic front is. We have to go farther south. Let's keep heading south more and more. Let's head to the Sunshine State in Florida, where, tell me if you've heard this in at least a while, Gulf effect. There is some Gulf effect rain and even some snow showers possible on the coldest side of this heading into Florida. So this could produce some of that rain or even wintry mix heading into Saturday evening due to that massive dip in the jet stream. It's going to be a lot colder, especially in the panhandle of Florida. So, yes, it's in the negatives up here, but I think when you start getting maybe some snow showers in Florida, I think that tells you how cold it's going to be. So a few scattered snow showers today as we head into the evening right here. This is what I've been mentioning the last few days, that very narrow but intense snow band passing in the southern areas of Oneida County, mainly in Madison County and central Onondaga County right there. Before eventually fizzles out, it shifts south, and then it returns again, at least with a lot less of intensity, heading into Friday evening in the hills just south of Utica. So we're not out of the woods with snowfall this weekend, despite or at least the next few days, with the weekend looking a lot better. I want to clarify that there. It's going to be a lot more quiet with some sunshine opportunities with some lingering clouds Saturday. Nonetheless, though, it's still very cold. Wind chills in the negatives for a lot of the weekend. And then, of course, following this Arctic stretch of weather, what better day to have following that than Groundhog Day? We get a chance to see, maybe if Puxatawny Phil can forecast something a bit warmer than negative 10-degree overnight lows. So we have some, maybe some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe instead of 6 weeks, we'll get 12 more weeks of winter.
I think people might riot, Gary.
Eric, thanks. Well, a flood warning remains in, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. If you're getting ready for the bus stop this morning, definitely Bundle up those kids. Eric, another cold one out there today.
Yeah, temperatures this morning, Gary. Our wind chills are in the negatives, but that's with no wind.
Yeah.
So we were actually in the negatives this morning. And also we're tracking some lake effect. And let's dive into it here. So yesterday we saw some lake effect, at least a lot more impactful. Today, because there's a lot more dry air at place here, the snowfall a bit more sandy and even icy in consistency, which is providing a couple of things. For one, it's providing better driving conditions. The snow, when it's sandy versus fluffy in texture, accumulates a lot less on roadways, so your morning commute will be a lot safer than yesterday. But also it's producing what are called light pillars. You might see this on your morning drive before sunrise today. This was sent to us by Kristen in Westmoreland. You can see those faint pillars there out in the distance, where basically the ice or snow crystals in the atmosphere act as a column that continues to reflect that light way up in the sky. It looks so interesting, and anytime we get very cold weather, always look out for this, because this is something that is evident mainly in cold weather due to those ice crystals in the atmosphere. So look at roadways this morning. Generally, it's pretty clear. Obviously, there are some snowy spots here and there, but at least compared to yesterday, as I mentioned, much improved. Wind chills or even actual temperatures remaining in the negatives this morning, and as we head throughout the next 12 hours, we're going to see our highs on paper climb into the teens. However, wind chills really dip down this evening and tonight. We have a look at those wind chills for tomorrow, lake effect chances and impacts for that too, and of course that all-important weekend forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. 2 border agents who fired their guns.
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Thursday morning. As we take a look at the radar right now, we got some good news regarding impacts. Yesterday we mentioned that there's some lake effect this morning that could produce some impacts to your morning commute. However, the air above us is pretty dry, and that's allowing that snowfall, or at least I should say preventing that snow from really forming into large flakes. It's almost sandy in consistency, and while on top of that it's not as widespread, in fact, due to that dry air as well, that snow is mainly pushing its way well to our west. So there's not at least any narrow, intense bands that we're tracking here for the short term. We'll still remain vigilant. We'll closely watch the snow band, but for now, a much safer morning commute compared to yesterday. Now, speaking of snowfall, we take a look at our photo of the day today, and this is a great shot of a snow dog. We might have heard us talk about sun dogs in the sky, but how about this? Probably he or she enjoying all the snowfall here in central New York, especially in Forestport. Up there, you guys get a lot of snow. This was sent in by Loretta. And if you have one like this, maybe your furry friend enjoying the snow or anything showcasing the beauty in your neck of the woods, WKTV.com/weather/pics is a place to submit your own. Our photo of the day every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thank you. The date is set, and the charity has been.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. We are tracking some lake effect to our west in the wake of an Arctic front set to arrive this afternoon. We look at the radar and satellite right here. You can see that front to the north and to the west right there. That's that Arctic front that's going to move in. And despite temperatures right now being in the negatives, we're going to see even colder temperatures as we head into the next few days. When it comes to lake effect, at least the difference maker this morning compared to yesterday has been the drier air aloft. That's providing us a couple of things. For one, it's eroding that lake effect before it really intensifies over us. And number two, if it does reach us, because that air is so dry, in what's called the dendritic growth layer, basically a fancier name for where the snowflakes form, is a lot less saturated. Therefore, the snow is very sandy and powdery and less, say, fluffy than what we saw yesterday with the more saturated part of that atmosphere. We'll still keep a close eye on it because with the way lake effect is, Mother Nature doesn't like always to play by the rules. But I can tell you right now, the morning commute today, much improved compared to yesterday. So wind chills will definitely decrease by tonight, especially by early tomorrow. You can see here minus 20, minus 30, and then minus 30 to minus 40 in parts of the Adirondacks. That'll persist with cold below zero wind chills throughout the day Friday and pretty much throughout the entire day Saturday, with Saturday night seeing those wind chills dipping back again into the negative double digits. So I mentioned we got an Arctic front coming in. Now, for us, that means below zero temperatures. But what's a better idea to give you a grasp on how strong this Arctic front is? Let's head south. We'll keep going, keep going. Let's head down to the Sunshine State in Florida, where we have that Arctic front sweeping far south enough where you see these lines here. That's Gulf effect. You know how we have lake effect snow here? Well, when you get cold enough air over the Gulf, you're going to get Gulf effect rain or even some snow showers. Now, personally, I think it's very unlikely for that snow to really even produce anything if it does move into Florida. I think it's more so rain, if anything, a wintry mix. But still, you see that type of a scenario down south. It tells you just how cold a lot of the East Coast is going to be. So today, we've got a few scattered snow showers from that Arctic front rolling through. This evening, watch out if you're driving south and west of Utica. There's a very narrow but intense snow band that's going to shift its way eventually farther south overnight and then fizzle out by early Friday morning before yet again that snow band returns mainly south of Utica and the hills, south of Utica I should say, into the evening hours before eventually drying up by Saturday. In terms of snow, the only difference I did here is I shifted that 4 to 8 south a little bit and that 2 to 4 south as well. But nonetheless, still, there are some impactful snow zones, especially heading down into Madison County. This weekend is looking pretty quiet. Some sunshine chances, still very cold. And then just in time for the end of the weekend, after that very cold stretch of weather, is Groundhog Day. And so I think there's a lot of debate as to whether you might see a shadow, you might not, but I think probably the consensus here, based off how the winter has trended, maybe we might even see 6 more weeks of winter.
At least.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. The time right now is 6:54. And Eric, in that video right there, we saw some snow showers coming down once again.
Yeah, it's been the case pretty much all week long, Gary. Some on and off snow. We have more snow showers to talk about right now. Again, it's not a lot. This is not expected to produce any major issues with travel or any notable accumulations. It's what follows this Arctic front here that'll provide some impacts to our weather. So you can see the outline. Here it is, extending right here through Buffalo. As it shifts its way south and east, it's going to provide us with, again, as I mentioned, a few scattered snow showers, but a major cool down and a very narrow but potentially intense band of snow south and west of Utica. We'll dive into that here in a few minutes. But in the meantime, temperatures actually, it's the wind chill at 12 degrees. It's a balmy 12 degrees, one of the warmest in the state. You had in other spots where the negatives were near zero. It is expected to cool down quickly as we head into the evening. And again, wind chills in the negative double digits tonight as we cool down quickly. And overall, we have some more snow opportunity by this evening as well as tomorrow. I'll explain what areas have the highest impact of seeing it, and then following that, what we be expecting heading to the weekend straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The flood warning from the reported...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are tracking some lake effect, which thankfully hasn't been largely impactful here locally, but it's the leading edge of a cold front. Matter of fact, more so an Arctic front we can see here, slowly shifting more and more into New York State right now. It's moving very slowly. In fact, it's so slow that categorically it's called a stationary front. See these reds and blues here? That tells us the front moving very, very slow. So you have a few scattered snow showers moving into the area this afternoon. These are expected to remain on and off with very little in terms of any notable impacts. It's what follows this Arctic front that'll produce some impacts. First, let's talk temperatures. And by this evening, you can see 6 p.m., our wind chills are below zero. They remain well below zero by tonight, minus 20 to minus 30. This is a reminder, bring your pets indoors. Do not leave them outside. Make sure when you put your kids in the bus tomorrow morning, they got gloves on, they got extra layers. That wind chill will be brutal, just like what we saw early Saturday morning, except this time you're heading out to work and the kids are heading to school. So either way, it's a very cold Friday. Wind chills do not make it above zero. And then Saturday, overall, a little warmer. We hit the 0 degree mark briefly, but then we're right back to the negative double digits as we head into Saturday night and into Sunday. Well, how impactful is this Arctic front? Now, here locally, we get into the negatives. Yes, it's very cold. It's not record-setting. It's not by any means anything outrageous. But you can tell how strong this could be is if we take our views all the way down to Florida. This is where we're going to be seeing some Gulf effect. How many times have you heard Gulf effect rain or Gulf effect snow? There's a possibility in the Tampa area and areas north near the Panhandle of seeing snow from Gulf effect. Yeah, listen, this is what I'm talking about here. This is so interesting of a scenario. Now, to be fair, this is still a very difficult opportunity for snow to accumulate, but again, the atmospheric possibilities are there. So while we're still talking about cold, another major impact would be regarding some snowfall. Actually, I wouldn't call it major. I'd call it still impactful, especially for those of you south and west of Utica. This zone right here, if you live in this area, you could be seeing a very narrow but intense band of snow this evening that could impact travel. So just be prepared, especially as you head out towards Syracuse and heading into Madison County. Then it quiets down as we head into Friday afternoon. Friday evening, a very narrow band still here. Can't rule it out, but I think it's going to be a lot weaker with those temperatures a lot colder. But nonetheless, the wind chills are still going to be a major factor heading into Friday and especially on Saturday. You can see here this weekend's not too bad condition-wise. I would say, go out and enjoy some winter activities, but I do recommend you bundle up. It's still going to be very cold. Our highs are only in the teens. Wind chills are likely to remain in the single digits or near zero, and we have negative double digits expected Saturday night as well. So a perfect time for Phil to come out of his hole and see if we have more of this weather on the way or if we might have some light at the end of the tunnel. We'll see.
Come on out, Phil. Eric, thanks. We are following some breaking news into the newsroom. The village of Dolgeville, meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And if you think it's cold out there right now, get ready, right?
Yes, it's cooling down rather rapidly starting tonight and even throughout the weekend, too. Well, look at the map here. In fact, I think this might have just updated here. We're just talking about this. Some of the area. We have some now extreme cold warnings now issued for some other area counties too. Let's take a look at them right now. So again, you look at the map here. So there's two colors on this map: cold weather advisories and extreme cold warnings. And the definition of both, it's not at least that much different. Cold weather advisories are likely between wind chills and minus 15, minus 25. And then extreme cold warnings, minus 35 to minus 45. Regardless of these numbers here, it's going to be very cold. We got wind chills in the negative double digits, and this extends for a lot of area counties. In fact, pretty much all of New York State under that cold weather advisory. And this all stems from an Arctic front that's arriving right now. You can see it. It's very weak in the definition of the band, but you can kind of see it. It's moving its way through the area, bringing a few scattered snow showers. These snow showers, not that impactful, but nonetheless, what follows it will be impactful. Obviously, those wind chills fall very quickly, but there is potential for a very narrow but intense band of snow south and west of Utica. We'll be diving into that here shortly. But again, tonight, it cools down quickly. It remains bitterly cold for the next several days. We'll have the details on those exact wind chills, plus any snow chances the next few days and where they could be straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks for recapping our top story today. New Hartford.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. An Arctic front moves in today. That'll provide us with some colder temperatures, wind chills, and a few snow chances as well. We take a look at the radar and satellite here. It's a slow-moving storm. This is why we're seeing this picked up as a stationary front here. You see those oranges, or excuse me, reds and blues. They have classified it as a stationary front, despite this having some pretty cold air behind it. Well, at least more importantly, some stronger winds behind it. It's going to bring down those wind chills tremendously as we head into today. You can see the leading edge of it right here, a few scattered snow showers, but I think for the most part, these snow bands will be relatively unimpactful. The air aloft is still very dry, and if it does saturate just in time, well, at that point, the front's already over us. But that might play a key, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. First, let's talk wind chill. By 6 p.m. tonight, our wind chills are in the negatives. By early tomorrow morning, negative double digits. We have extreme cold warnings in effect for locations in the Adirondacks in northern Oneida County. And the rest of us, we have a cold weather advisories, which it's basically just terminology. You go from minus 20 to minus 30. I don't think you guys really notice that much difference. It is still just bitterly cold. So make sure the kids are bundled up tomorrow. Make sure you guys are bundled up tomorrow. And more importantly, make sure your pets are inside overnight. Tomorrow, it's pretty quiet. It's cold. Tomorrow night, it's still remaining pretty cold as well. Overnight lows in the negatives. And then Saturday looking pretty cold as well. By late Saturday, early Sunday, those wind chills are in the negative double digits. The bigger picture shows this Arctic front rolling through. And while today, or at least tonight, it's going to be very cold, I want to show you guys the real effect, maybe pun intended, of this Arctic front. Gulf effect rain and Gulf effect snow potentially hitting the Panhandle and the west coast of Florida. I know my brother was texting me information that was talking about potential accumulations of snow showers down in his neck of the woods down there in the west coast. So he always teases me when it's warm out down there, so finally he might get a taste of our winter that he was used to growing up. Our skycast shows some scattered snow showers today. You're still going to see this very narrow but intense band potentially form in the hills of Madison County. We're going to watch this. So far, the snowfall has behaved for the better in the last few, I would say last 12 or so hours. But anytime we see things like this, we'd rather play it cautious, let you guys know about it, versus you guys get caught off guard, which is the worst thing that can happen with a very narrow band of intense snow. There's another chance of that possibly happening as we head into Friday in the evening, but it looks to be less intense there. In terms of snow, here's the updates, the changes here. I didn't change the amounts. I just shifted it south a little bit, and I extended the time frame into Saturday evening. There's still additional snowfall expected over the next 24 to 36 hours, so I figured, yes, the snow underperformed last night. Thankfully, the air was just dry enough aloft, but I do think there's potential for that band to form mainly south and west of Utica. And again, making sure you guys are prepared for any possibilities of travel issues. It still remains pretty cold, though, Gary. I mean, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, those negatives in the double digits.
You don't normally see 3 straight nights of 10.
No, very cold. But yeah, we got some cold weather continuing. We have some warm weather eventually moving its way in, but warm relative. I mean, we're talking mid-20s. It's still below freezing, so, but, it's just a matter of time before eventually we're back into springtime, and maybe Puxtawney Phil might have some weather in my friends.
Anticipation.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. Well, plunging temperatures are driving up concern.
Time now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. What are we under now? Another weather alert for cold temperatures.
Yeah, this is really just a highlight. I know it's been a cold week. I mean, the entire week has been cold, but tonight is going to be the coldest night so far. And it's going to be cold enough that you're going to want to be very aware of this. We're talking about wind chills 20 to 30 below zero first thing tomorrow morning. And the National Weather Service has extreme cold warnings, cold weather advisories. Bottom line is just to highlight that this is going to be the coldest night of the week. We are tracking some lake effect snow, and so far the accumulations have been relatively light. We do expect some of this to continue overnight, but I think the cold weather is going to be the bigger story. 12 degrees at Griffiths and Rome. It already feels like 3 below zero. We've had a push of even stronger Arctic air that has arrived from the northwest, and again, overnight lows will get well below zero. We do expect some snow overnight, an inch or two of fluff, especially west and south of Utica, but not a whole lot of accumulation. Snow showers this evening, temperatures drop into the single digits. Again, we're well below zero tonight. Very cold start to Friday morning, but there is some signs that the weather is going to turn much less cold. A little bit of a warming trend ahead. I've got to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New York State Police are looking for help identifying.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. It's going to be a cold night tonight. Temperatures are going to fall below zero, and with a wind chills are going to be 20 to 30 below. Very cold night ahead. Live look at downtown Utica. We do have daylight, or at least twilight, I should say, this time of the year. Now after 5 o'clock, so it is nice to see. But again, it is going to be cold tonight. Some clouds will be returning, and lake effect snow will redevelop and move in. It's going to be relatively light. Like mentioned earlier this week, when we get these really cold Arctic air masses, we can still get lake effect snow. It just behaves differently than it would just a few weeks ago. The air tends to be a lot drier, so the bands have a hard time making it inland. Today, there was 1.5 feet of snow in Oswego, but again, those lake bands just didn't quite make it far to the east. They kind of dried out. I do expect to see some snow tonight, but again, I think it's going to be relatively limited to a fluffy inch or two, generally west of Utica. Again, some snow bands are starting to reform overnight, but again, the big story is going to be the cold weather. Take a look at the wind chills. I think we're about 20 to 25, as much as 30 below zero. On exposed skin, that means frostbite time is about 15 minutes or less. So layer up, make sure you have gloves, a hat, and maybe even some kind of face protection if you're going to be outdoors for long periods of time tomorrow morning. Temperatures are going to warm up. The wind chill won't be as intense later in the day, but we are still generally double digits below zero, even into Saturday morning. This cold weather is going to stick around into the weekend. We do expect the weather to generally dry out. Again, tracking lake effect snow showers this evening. The winds are going to become lighter, and that should slowly shut off the lakes. Again, we are tracking some accumulation tonight, tomorrow. A general fluffy inch or two of accumulation, 1 to 3 inches from Utica to Rome and pointing south and west, 3 to 6 inches heading towards Syracuse, and heading east into the Mohawk Valley and south, and even across the North Country, little accumulation is expected. Big story tonight is the cold, temperatures below zero. I think the air temperature is about 5 to 15 below zero, especially north where skies do clear out. Frigid Friday, temperatures generally in the single digits with a few scattered snow showers. Friday night, we're below zero again under mostly cloudy skies. And then the weather should cooperate here for Saturday. I think we'll see partly sunny skies throughout the day. It's still cold, but it does look a lot nicer. The weather does warm up as we head into early next week. That coastal storm we've been talking about all week continues to be a complete miss for central New York. No changes here, although it could be a heavy accumulation along coastal New England, or it could drift out to sea. But again, as far as we're concerned, it's dry here in central New York all weekend long. 15 below zero is possible tonight. Snow showers. Again, we're cold tomorrow, a high of only 7. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Sunshine over the weekend, cold. Next week, we warm up. We're looking at high temperatures in the 20s, some light snow chances Tuesday and Thursday, and I think 20s is going to feel warm. It's just amazing how your perspective changes this time of the year.
Yeah, especially if it's going to be a 30 to 40 degree swing
Yes.
from what we're dealing with now. All right, thank you, Bill. And if you were looking to get your skate on this evening, just Bill Curtis.
Got some cold weather in store tonight, the coldest night all week. It also has led to a beautiful sunset with clear skies. This picture from Nick Brutsky in Schuyler. The sunset these days is after 5 o'clock, about 10 after 5, and we are noticing brighter evenings ahead. And the mornings are getting brighter too at a slower rate. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Lake effect snow showers are redeveloping and they will move in from the west. The snow tonight looks relatively light, but we could see a fluffy inch or two, especially west of Utica. Coldest day of the week, Friday, a high of only 7. We're looking at highs over the weekend in the teens, and then we start climbing into the 20s. So it will get a lot easier to be outdoors for extended periods of time. Again, over the weekend will be still pretty tough, but there will be lighter winds, so that will definitely help. And we should see some sunshine too. If you're taking the dog out for a walk, make it a short walk tonight. Temperatures will fall into the single digits and close to 0 here. Tonight's featured dog, Phantom from Utica. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. This winter season has been a brutal one thus far for Central New Yorkers, with snowfall totals about 3 feet above average to date. Well, today we spoke with Jim Shane, the Town of Marcy Highway Superintendent and President of the Oneida County Highway Superintendents Association, about some of the added difficulties this winter presented. We've got equipment issues, high usage of both sand and salt have made this winter.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
It's going to be a cold night tonight. We had an Arctic front move through, and that's going to push the temperatures down. Tonight looks to be the coldest night of the week. A live look in Cooperstown. Nice to see twilight at this time. Temperatures are, again, cooling off quickly. Already 10 degrees in Cooperstown and falling. We are tracking lake effect snow that is in the process of developing. We talked about this earlier in the week about how some of the Great Lakes have frozen over. Lake Erie has frozen over. Lake Ontario has not, and that's why we're still seeing lake effect snow. However, it is different this time of the year. Just notice these bands are not extending as far east. When the air gets really cold, the lake effect band just doesn't travel as far. It still brings snow, but it's just different. If this happened 2 months ago, this band would be into the Mohawk Valley. We do expect to see some light, fluffy snow tonight, and there will be some heavier snow, especially closer to the lakeshore. In fact, Oswego picked up 1.5 feet of snow. It tends to fall heavy, but much closer to the lakeshore. Reminder, as cold as it gets tonight, it's time to bring the pets inside and keep them indoors tonight and tomorrow morning. We're talking about air temperatures 10, 15 below 0, wind chills 20 to 30 below 0. And also you want to take breaks if you are heading outdoors tomorrow. Make sure you layer up. One positive, if you like sunshine, you do get more of it this time of the year when it does get cold. This is traditionally the cloudiest time of the entire year. And in warmer winters, we often see long stretches of time of consecutive cloudy days. We still get a lot of clouds this time of the year, but when it's really cold, we have a better chance of seeing sunshine on the few days that we do get it. So that is one positive. Temperatures are cooling off from our sky watchers. Helen and Cassville 9 degrees, Whitesboro 15, already down to 3 in Bill's backyard in Old Forge, Jeff and Mohawk 12, Cooperstown 9, Paynes Hollow 13, Scott in Edmonston with 11. Wind direction coming in from the north, that's bringing in this Arctic air. And again, we're continuing to see lake effect snow showers, an inch or two of fluff tonight, especially from Utica and points west. For the most part, this snow falls overnight and generally winds down Friday. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, again, frigid conditions tonight, air temperatures 5, 10, 15 below 0. We should see some sunshine early tomorrow, and there will be some very light, lingering lake effect snow showers into the day, especially from Utica and points westward. Tomorrow night, another cold night, overnight lows below 0. Saturday, we should see some sunshine, temperatures in the teens. Tracking that weekend storm, it looks like the snowfall accumulation will be along the coast. We do expect dry weather here in central New York. Snow showers tonight, 15 below 0. Tomorrow, 7 degrees, snow showers. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Sunshine over the weekend, temperatures in the teens. The weather next week looks a lot warmer. Imagine being excited about temperatures in the 20s. Yeah, we're getting into that time of the year. Snow showers on Tuesday and Thursday. Highs in the upper 20s, overnight lows in the teens. We'll be right back.
When news breaks, it happens here. But the storm...
Here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
And it's going to be very cold tonight. In fact, cold enough where the National Weather Service has issued extreme cold warnings and cold weather advisories. That means the wind chill gets down to 20 to 30 below. The air temperature 5 to 15 below. So this is about as cold as what we saw not last weekend, but the prior weekend across central New York. And again, you want to give yourself plenty of breaks tomorrow morning. Make sure you layer up. We are tracking a few lake effect snow showers tonight. The lake effect snow has been few and far between today. But I do think we'll see some accumulation overnight. 9 degrees, the current temperature. It feels like 6 below. And again, we're going to have no problems falling below zero tonight. Some lake effect snow accumulation, primarily west of Utica. A fluffy inch or two of accumulation is expected overnight and into Friday. Again, we're down into the single digits this evening. Below zero tonight. The very cold weather sticks around for the short term, but all signs point towards a warm up. I'm going to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. One of 3 people charged in the death of a 19-year-old mother in Utica was sentenced today. Kadir Pinckney pleaded guilty to attempted murder and sentenced to 21 years in state prison. Victim Kiamoni Davis was shot and killed on Faxton Street in November of 2024. When asked if he had anything to say before being sentenced, Pinckney said no. 19-year-old Charles Bryant is charged with second-degree murder in the case. He's due in court February 11th. And a third person, 20-year-old Deanna Meddy.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. A frigid night tonight. Temperatures are going to drop below zero in a lot of spots. So live look in downtown Utica. We did see the sunshine today, although it was a pretty cold afternoon. Lake effect has been held at bay, but it is reforming. It's redeveloping to the west, and we will see some lake effect snow showers heading into tonight. With the lakes a lot colder now than just a few weeks ago, the lake effect tends to stay closer to the lake shore. It came down hard and heavy over the past 24 hours, closer to Oswego, picking up 1.5 feet of snow. But again, those bands just didn't quite make it as far east. We are seeing some snow showers redevelop off the lakes tonight, and we will be getting some light snow. Take a look at last night. This picture from Jessica and Oneana. Many of you have been sending in pictures. These are called light pillars. They're formed from reflection of fine ice crystals. You have to have very cold temperatures and very light snow to get this. And it's caused from the ground lights, the reflection heading up into the sky. A very cold night tonight. Wind chills 20, 25 below zero. Dress in layers, give yourself breaks tomorrow morning. Keep your pets indoors. The worst of this is in the morning. It does get a little bit better throughout the afternoon, but air temperatures will only be in the single digits. Wind chills will stay below zero all day. It's going to be very cold Saturday morning. Wind chills in the morning over the next couple of days, 15, 20 below zero. During the day, closer to zero. So we've got some very cold weather that's going to persist through the weekend. Cassville, 9 degrees. Barneveld, 12. Inlet 7 degrees, Norway 12, Ski Nevis 14, Hartwick with 9. A secondary push of cold weather, Arctic air on the way tonight. And again, that's what's going to bring the wind chills well below zero. Lake effect snow showers continue tonight and tomorrow. We're thinking a fluffy inch or two of accumulation, mainly south and west of Utica. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, again, snow showers overnight, frigid temperatures drop into the single digits below zero. Tomorrow, lake effect snow showers continue, very, very light and generally west of Utica. Highs only in the single digits. Will drop below zero again tomorrow night. Again, this is the air temperature. Saturday looks dry. We should see some sunshine. It won't be quite as cold, but it's still cold. Temperatures will be in the teens throughout the day. We are watching that coastal storm, and it does look like it's going to stay along the coast. We've been watching this all week long, and it continues to be a miss here for central New York. So if you're hearing about this, just understand it's a completely different scenario than what we dealt with last weekend. Snow showers tonight below zero, 5 to 15 below. Snow showers tomorrow, a high of only 7. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Dry, sunny over the weekend and into Monday. We're noticing a warming trend. Highs in the 20s next week. Some light snow chances Tuesday, Thursday. Colder than average, but I think it's going to feel kind of warm. Dare I say, it's all about your perspective this time of the year.
Yeah, it depends on how bitey that air is.
Yes.
It will be a lot less bitey next week.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Bill. Well, all the snow this season so far, local DPW crews have had their challenges keeping up. With almost 3 feet of snow above average to date, winter has taken its toll on highway departments. The equipment issues in the frigid cold, above average usage of both sand and salt, long grueling shifts, you name it. The winter's been difficult, right? Well, we asked James Shane, the town of Marcy Highway Superintendent and the president of the Oneida County Highway Superintendents Association, about the morale of his team. And Shane said it remains high, but they would like a break. Well, last winter was tough. This season of snowfall started much earlier and was more consistent than last year.
The first 4 years, I could say, it was a pretty soft winter. You know, the guys might go out once a week, twice a week. And that was just going out like one shift, going out, clean it up in the morning, the afternoon would be nice, and the night shift, they would really wouldn't have much going on. Last year was grueling, but it started about January 1st last year. This year, for us, our year started November 1st.
Yes, indeed. Shane says that the Oneida County Highway Supervisors are prepared for whatever winter has left for them as salt and sand supplies remain sufficient. Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6, find out this week's athlete.
With Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's been cold this week for sure, but overnight and for the next couple of days, the mercury plummets. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis calling for an alert day. And it feels like it's cold out, that's for sure.
Yeah, the wind chill continues to drop tonight, already 13 below, and we're thinking it's going to bottom out probably closer to 20 to 25 below. As we look at the numbers here, again, 5 degrees, looking at cloudy skies at Griffiths and Rome. That's actually keeping the temperature from falling at the moment. We've got some lake effect cloud cover, but again, we are tracking widespread sub-zero wind chills. Look at Watertown, 17 below zero. We have wind extreme cold warnings, cold weather advisories. Again, it's going to be pretty rough here heading into tonight. We have been tracking lake effect snow. There's a very narrow band that extends just south of Utica. It has been producing locally steady to heavy snow tonight, but that will gradually wind down as we head into tonight and tomorrow. And we do expect a fluffy inch or two of accumulation, but I think most of it will be over with by the morning. Snow showers tonight, temperatures 5 to 15 below zero. Again, a very cold night ahead. We are tracking some warmer weather in our future. Look at the forecasts coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Winter's been brutal so far with above average snowfall today, too. And while we've all been feeling winter's wrath, local municipalities have literally been working around the clock. News Channel 2's James DeFazio has that for us, new tonight.
The city of Utica averages 9 snow for the entire winter season. Coming into the day, we've gotten 95.3 inches of snow already, and it's still only January. With snow totals almost double where they were at this time last year, I spoke with James Shane, the president of the Oneida County Highway Association.
For the last, I've been superintendent for 5 years. The first 4 years, I could say, it was a pretty soft winter. You know, the guys might go out once a week, twice a week. And that was just going out like one shift, going out, clean it up in the morning, the afternoon would be nice, and the night shift, they really wouldn't have much going on. Last year was grueling, but it started about January 1st last year. This year, for us, our year started November 1st.
Another factor adding challenges, the frigid temperatures and frequency of snowfalls. Highway departments have had to adjust the material that they spread as conditions change. While salt was effective in the early season, the harsh winter has forced departments to increase sand usage for traction.
I'm not using as much salt. I had to kind of go back to sand for traction on the road. But when we get the back-to-back storms with no sun, our roads, because we don't use a lot of salt like the state or the county, our roads never really completely bear off. So we have to put some sand on them to have traction. It's a double-edged sword. They don't melt off, but then the general public gets used to driving on it. And that's the big thing now. You don't see as many accidents because people are used to driving in it now.
With 50 days remaining until spring, these numbers are only going to increase. We're on pace to finish the season with the highest seasonal snow total in quite some time. To crack the top 10 snowiest winters ever, Utica would need 37.4 inches of additional accumulation. Reporting in studio, James DeFazio, News Channel 2.
James, thank you. The village of Dolgeville under
Download the Storm Tracker 2 mobile app and put the power of Storm Tracker 2 in the palm of your hand. Watch the latest forecast, hour-by-hour conditions, the latest radar this winter. Be prepared. Download the Storm Tracker 2 mobile app today. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good evening. Cold weather out there tonight. Temperatures will fall from the single digits to below zero. We've been tracking a very narrow band of lake effect snow that's been producing some slippery roads. This was over the city of Utica about an hour ago, and it has caused some slippery conditions across central New York. The band has shifted south, and you can see it extending south of Utica, just south of the Mohawk Valley. Again, it doesn't look very impressive on the radar, but it's because a lot of this is very low to the ground, and so the radar is not detecting the intensity of it. Nevertheless, it's here, and it will produce some snow overnight. With the snow in the air, you might see these. These have been spotted several times over the past couple of days. These are called light pillars. They form from reflection of ice crystals from light, and they happen on very cold nights like tonight, and it's often due to when it's really cold, the crystals take on a slightly different shape. Bitter cold temperatures tonight. Again, air temperatures below zero, 5 to 10 below, and with a wind, it's going to feel more like 20 to 30 below zero. This is a look at the wind chills Friday morning. Now, it stays cold. The wind chills will be below zero most of the day. We'll have a light breeze, high temperatures in the single digits. So we're below zero with the wind chill tomorrow night, and we generally stay below zero throughout the weekend. We have a light breeze, and just very cold weather is going to be sticking around. An Arctic air mass dropped in from the north today. It changed the wind direction. It's allowing the wind to pick up. So the short-term weather we're keeping an eye on Lake Ontario. I think the wind will mostly keep the bands west of Utica, and with the dry air in place, it has a harder time accumulating, at least this far east. Closer to the shore, it's a different story. Again, some snow accumulation tonight, tomorrow, a fluffy inch or two of accumulation. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, cold tonight. Temperatures drop down into the single digits below zero. And then on Friday, it's dry throughout the majority of the day, mostly cloudy. We could see a few lingering snow showers from Lake Ontario. Temperatures only in the single digits. Tomorrow night, sub-zero. Saturday looks partly to mostly sunny. I think we'll be able to bust out into some sunshine, and it looks cold with temperatures in the teens. Looks like that storm is still a miss for the weekend. It looks like it'll be a coastal New England storm, if that. But again, we will not be seeing any significant impacts from the weather from that weekend storm. A lot of hype, but again, not our concern. Below zero tonight, snow showers, single digits tomorrow, snow showers. Over the weekend, the weather starts to warm up. We're looking at partly sunny skies Saturday and Sunday. Monday's high temperature in the mid-20s. Will be in the upper 20s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be right back.
With Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's been cold this week for sure, but overnight for the next couple of days, the mercury plummets. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis calling for an alert day. And they're not disappointing. 16 below, feels like anyway.
Yeah, it's brutal out there. We've had so much cold weather this whole week, but now we've kind of bottomed out. Current temperature, 1 degree. West-northwest winds sustained at 12 miles an hour, making it feel like 16 below. And we're not the only ones dealing with the cold. The whole Northeast, all of upstate New York, double digits below zero. If the winds do back off a little bit tonight, that's going to help the air temperature fall. And I do think we could get down to perhaps 10 to 15 below zero in spots where the wind does back off. Where the wind is continuing, it's going to feel that way. And so that we have extreme cold warnings in effect for the North Country and a cold weather advisory in effect for the rest of central New York. Remember, the Weather Service changed the terminology. They used to call these wind chill warnings and wind chill advisories. So now it's just cold weather. Live look at the Redfield Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. There's this narrow band of lake effect snow that continues to drop south. It was enough to cause some issues out there, dropping an inch or two of fluffy snow and making the road slippery. I think the accumulation looks relatively minimal tonight. We could see a few lingering lake effect snow showers, but again, that should be few and far between. Very cold tonight, frigid, down into the double digits below zero. We're tracking a very cold Friday before some relief is in sight. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. This winter's been brutal so far to date as well. And while we have all been feeling winter's wrath, local municipalities have been literally working around the clock. News Channel 2's James DeFazio has that for us, new tonight.
The city of Utica averages 95.5 inches of snow for the entire winter season. Coming into the day, we've gotten 95.3 inches of snow already, and it's still only January. With snow totals almost double where they were at this time last year, I spoke with James Shane, the president of the Oneida County Highway Association.
For the last, well, I've been superintendent for 5 years. The first 4 years, I could say, it was a pretty soft winter. You know, the guys might go out once a week, twice a week. And that was just going out like one shift, going out, clean it up in the morning, the afternoon would be nice, and the night shift, they really wouldn't have much going on. Last year was grueling, but it started about January 1st last year. This year, for us, our year started November 1st.
Another factor adding challenges, the frigid temperatures and frequency of snowfalls. Highway departments have had to adjust the material that they spread as conditions change. While salt was effective in the early season, the harsh winter has forced departments to increase sand usage for traction.
I'm not using as much salt. I had to kind of go back to sand for traction on the road. But when we get the back-to-back storms with no sun, our roads, because we don't use a lot of salt like the state or the county, our roads never really completely bear off. So we have to put some sand on them to have traction. It's a double-edged sword. They don't melt off, but then the general public gets used to driving on it. And that's the big thing now. You don't see as many accidents because people are used to driving in it now.
With 50 days remaining until spring, these numbers are only going to increase. We're on pace to finish the season with the highest seasonal snow total in quite some time. To crack the top 10 snowiest winters ever, Utica would need 37.4 inches of additional accumulation. Reporting in studio, James DeFazio, News Channel 2.
James, thank you. The village of Dolgeville is under a state of emergency tonight following not one but two water main breaks. The first was on Route 167 between Slauson Street and
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Frigid weather tonight as we take a live look in downtown Utica. The roads are in better shape. We did have this band of lake effect snow that moved through the Mohawk Valley. The band is now situated along the Route 20 corridor, and while it doesn't look impressive on radar, this is producing some locally heavy snow. It's a very narrow band. This is going to push to the south tonight, and we are going to dry out. In fact, skies have cleared out in Rome, now down to 1 degree. Look at Watertown, 19 below zero. This is the air temperature. This doesn't factor in the wind. The wind chill is currently 16 below zero at Griffiths and Rome. A lot of folks seeing light pillars. This has become commonplace over the past couple of days. These form when the weather is extremely cold and we have very fine ice crystals in the sky, and it's caused by reflection of those ice crystals on lights near the ground. So really cool picture. This was taken in Oneonta yesterday evening, but we're getting pictures of these all the time here over the past couple of days. Wind chills bottom out tonight, 20, 25, some cases 30 below zero. Dress in layers, limit your time outdoors, keep your pets inside tonight. Same thing throughout tomorrow afternoon. It's not quite as cold during the day, but it's going to feel like it's below zero throughout the entire day tomorrow, and as well as tomorrow night. And really, for the most part, the whole weekend, temperatures will be in the teens, but the wind chill will be close to or below zero for the next couple of days. And again, just bundle up as you're heading out. Bigger picture shows an Arctic blast dropping in from the north, and there's some lake effect snow tonight, and there's going to be a light fluffy inch or two of accumulation, primarily south and west of Utica. But this band really doesn't produce a lot of accumulation as it is running into some really dry air. That's the thing about cold air, it's exceptionally dry. That band just doesn't produce as much snow inland as it did just a few weeks ago. Tonight, again, frigid conditions, well below zero overnight. Tomorrow is a pretty quiet day. We'll see a couple of snow showers and flurries from Lake Ontario. Other than that, temperatures very cold, only in the single digits. We're below zero tomorrow night. The weather looks dry over the weekend. We should see some sunshine here heading into Saturday. A big miss, as expected, for that weekend storm. No impacts here locally. Maybe some snow along Cape Cod and into Nova Scotia, but it's not going to be our problem this time around. Snow showers tonight, frigid, 15 below zero. Tomorrow, cold afternoon, snow showers 7. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Sunshine over the weekend, temperatures in the teens, overnight lows below zero. Temperatures warm up into the 20s early next week. We'll be right back.
Want to